Hey, what's up YouTube? This is MBI3030. This is a response to Convert2Islam and to other Muslims out there who may be watching this at this time. Convert2Islam, you accused me of being a Christian before I was a Muslim, then Christian. No, I never claimed to be a Christian before I was a Muslim. In fact, that's not the case at all. I had no religious upbringing whatsoever. But let me just explain how dubious you're wrong about Deuteronomy 34. Because you state, and I quote, "This verse cannot be referring to Jesus because he arose in Israel. This verse can only be applied to Muhammad, who came outside of Israel. Muhammad arising in Arabia." And he says, you think your arguments are stronger, in fact come from biblical context, but they don't. You do an eisegetical interpretation. So let's just look at this verse and let's just see how Muslims want this verse to be read. The verse states, Deuteronomy 34 verse 10, "And there has not risen a prophet since in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face." If you're a Muslim, converted to Islam will want you to read this verse like this: "And there will be risen no prophet anymore in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face." So converted to Islam, you want it to read like this: "And there will be no more prophets arisen in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face." That's not what it says. The verse states, "And there has not arisen a prophet since in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face." And just the two preceding verses down before it gives it a little extra context. Talks about the signs and wonders whom the Lord knew. He did it in the presence of Pharaoh in the land of Egypt, and basically all his servants. That's verse 11. Verse 12 talks about all the mighty powers and deeds and great deeds that Moses did was in the sight of all Israel. So there were eyewitnesses to this particular stuff. The night journey, it was, I think, only Muhammad's own testimony. But that's not here and there. Because most Muslims argue that this Deuteronomy 34 excludes Jesus Christ. I don't see how it excludes him, since it should be noted that this verse verse 10, the word since means since the time of Moses to the time this last since this particular verse was written. Since means Moses' death to the time this last chapter was written, because these last few verses, which is okay, was written by Joshua. That's fine. You stated that just because Moses didn't write the last few verses, that in no way could it be written by all 5 books could be written by Moses, and that's a non sequitur. It does not follow, because of, let's just say, I agree with you that well, let's just say that Moses didn't write the last few verses, and so you're gonna equate it to being that Moses didn't write the entire 5 books, of the Pentateuch. That doesn't follow. Your next thing will state that because he didn't write this, well, if I agree stating that he wrote about his death, then that's your reply. Well, how can Moses write about his death if he's dead? Come on, man, think about it. So in no way does that compromise the fact that Moses wrote the rest of the Pentateuch, and the last verse was written by Joshua because he was the immediate successor of Moses. And so this particular verse was written centuries before the time of Christ, and in no way eliminates Jesus Christ as being the candidate for Deuteronomy 18:18 and about this particular verse, because it states that whom the Lord knew face to face, and it's quite obvious that Jesus Christ knew the Lord face to face. The Lord calls him his beloved Son. 500 witnesses seen Jesus Christ ascend into heaven. Stephen, before he was stoned by Saul of Tarsus, seen Jesus Christ sitting on the right hand of God the Father, or seen him standing next to God the Father in the book of Acts. So the claim that Moses, or the claim that Muhammad went to the highest of heavens, ascended far greater than anybody else, whose witness? Muhammad's own testimony? We have multiple witnesses about Jesus Christ, And so there's no possible way that this verse could be about Muhammad, since the prophet to come was like Moses, who did all signs and wonders, who the Lord will send. Muhammad, by his own confession, did no miracles, signs, and wonders. And in Surah 17, ayah 90 through ayah 90 and 93, 17, 90, 93. The prophet was to come was like Moses, who spoke with God face to face, Deuteronomy 34 and 10. Muhammad never claimed to speak to God directly. His revelations came through the angel Jabril. So are you saying his revelation never came through Jabril? Is that your claim, converted to Islam? And Surah 297 states that his revelation came through the angel Jabril. So who was this angel? In my upcoming videos, I'm going to explain who Jabril was versus Gabriel of the Bible. Jesus, on the other hand, was a direct mediator of 1 Timothy 2:5. Jesus Christ was a direct mediator. He stands between us and God the Father, and like the prophets of the old stood before the people of Israel. And in Hebrews chapter 9 verses 15, Jesus Christ communicated directly with God the Father, John 1:18 and John 12:49. So just by context itself, you assume that this verse is not about Jesus Christ, and you assume that it eliminates all Israelites from prophethood. Are you serious? This is your reply? Take care, God bless, and I will be praying for you, converted to Islam.